Have you noticed something strange happening in politics lately? It seems like some politicians are in a perpetual state of outrage. They're always complaining, they're always blaming someone else. It's like they're competing for the title of most aggrieved. But here's the thing, real leaders don't whine, they get things done. So what happens when our elected officials become professional victims? Politics has always been a tough game, but somewhere along the way, it seems like the rule book got tossed out. Instead of engaging in thoughtful debate and offering solutions, some politicians have resorted to a new playbook, the politics of victimhood. They've traded in their policy proposals for pity pleas, and frankly, it's exhausting. This isn't just about a few bad apples. This is about a growing trend of politicians using victimhood as a tool to manipulate public opinion. They know that tears sell. They understand the power of a well-timed tweet storm, and they're not afraid to use those tactics to their advantage. The problem is this kind of behavior is incredibly damaging. It erodes public trust, it undermines our democracy, and it distracts from the real issues facing our country. We're facing serious challenges like climate change, economic inequality, and a healthcare system that's broken. But instead of addressing these issues head-on, some politicians are too busy playing the victim card. Let's be clear, there's a big difference between acknowledging genuine hardship and exploiting perceived slights for political gain. Real leaders understand this distinction. They know that leadership isn't about playing the victim. It's about taking responsibility, it's about finding solutions, and it's about putting the needs of the people they represent above their own egos. But in today's political climate, it seems like some politicians have forgotten what it means to lead. They're more interested in scoring points on social media than they are in finding common ground. They'd rather launch into a Twitter tirade than engage in a thoughtful debate. Section 4. Anatomy of a Political Meltdown, Tactics and Examples. So, how do they do it? What are the tactics that whining politicians use to manipulate the public? Well, it usually starts with a healthy dose of blame shifting. Nothing is ever their fault, it's always the media's fault, or the opposition party's fault. Or even better, some vast, shadowy conspiracy that's out to get them. Then comes the emotional manipulation. They'll use tear-filled speeches and carefully crafted sound bites to paint themselves as victims of some great injustice. They'll appeal to our sense of fairness and outrage, and they'll try to convince us that they, and they alone, are the only ones who can protect us from the forces of evil that are supposedly arrayed against them. For example, remember when that one politician, let's call him Mr. X, completely lost it after a journalist asked him a tough question? He threw a full-blown tantrum, complete with yelling, finger-pointing, and accusations of fake news. It was like watching a toddler who had been denied a cookie. Not exactly the picture of leadership, was it? Section 5. The Backlash. When whining politicians go too far. But here's the good news. The public isn't buying it anymore. We're tired of the drama. We're fed up with the constant complaining, and we're starting to see through the manipulative tactics. In fact, there have been a few high-profile cases where politicians have gone too far with their whining, and the public backlash has been swift and decisive. Remember that politician who tried to blame his own incompetence on a rogue intern? Or the one who claimed that the reason she lost an election was because of sexist media coverage? Yeah, those backfired spectacularly. The public saw right through their attempts to play the victim, and they were held accountable for their actions. Section 6. Demand better. A call for accountability and real leadership. This is a good sign. It shows that people are starting to demand better from their elected officials. We're no longer willing to accept whining and blame shifting as substitutes for leadership. We want solutions, we want results, and we want leaders who are willing to take responsibility for their actions. The time for whining is over. It's time for our politicians to step up and start acting like leaders again. And if they're not up to the task, well then, maybe it's time for them to find a new line of work, one that doesn't involve leading a country. Please don't forget to subscribe, like, share, and comment.